My name is Boba. I live in a quiet little village tucked between rolling green hills. If you stand on the small hill behind my house, you can see every red roof and every winding dirt road. It's not a big village, just a bakery that smells like warm bread each morning, a tiny market in the square, and a bell that rings softly when the sun begins to set. My house is made of clay, with a red roof and an azalea tree growing beside it. Every morning, I wake up to roosters crowing and my mother humming while she stirs rabbit stew over the fire. I run outside barefoot, and the earth feels cool under my feet. During the day, I help my father carry vegetables to the market. I like walking through the village square, where grandmothers sit weaving baskets and little children chase chickens that don't seem to mind being chased at all. But my favorite time is evening. When the sky turns orange and pink, I climb the small hill behind the village. From there, I can see lanterns glowing in the windows and thin trails of smoke curling up from chimneys. The whole village looks soft and golden, like it's wrapped in a blanket of light. Sometimes I wonder what lies beyond the mountains in the distance. Are there bigger villages, taller trees, different stars? An old shepherd once sat beside me on the hill and said, "The world is wide, but your village is the place that made you strong enough to explore it." I think about that when the first stars appear. Maybe one day I will travel beyond the mountains. But for now, the sound of crickets, the warm lantern light, and the laughter drifting up from below make me feel exactly where I'm meant to be. And when I climb down the hill and head home, I know tomorrow will bring another simple, beautiful day in my village.
I live in a tiny village, where the most exciting thing that happens is when Mr. Mendy's cat stares at you suspiciously. That's it. That's our nightlife. Every morning, I walk the little wooden bridge across the canal to the busy part of town. In my village, we have one shop. It sells bread, meat, milk, and somehow, fermented spider eyes. No one knows why. But across the canal, it's amazing. The moment I cross over the bridge, it's like I've entered another universe. There are llamas, camels, people rushing, street vendors shouting, and at least 3 different smells fighting in the air at the same time. It's beautiful. Back home, if 2 people are outside at once, we call it a festival. In town, there are crowds everywhere. The first time I saw automatic lights in town, I screamed and apologized to them. I thought I had magical powers. Turns out, it was just a sensor. I still bow slightly when I walk in, just in case. I love the noise. I love the chaos. I love that nobody knows who I am. In my village, if I fart, my grandma hears about it before I do. But in town, I can fart freely, loudly, proudly. Honestly, every day I row back home thinking about how much I love the busy side of the canal. Although, yesterday I told a man in town I was from the quiet village across the canal. He said, "Oh yeah? That place with the one shop?" I said, "That's us." He said, "We thought that was decorative."
Every morning in the coral canals, I wake up to the gentle clucking of chickens and the soft wind brushing through the wheat fields outside my window. My house sits at the very edge of the village, right where the dirt road begins to disappear into the forest. Sometimes I imagine the trees are whispering secrets, but mostly they just sound sleepy. Mornings are my favorite. They're quiet. Nothing is in a hurry. Even the sun seems to stretch before it rises. After breakfast, my father usually hands me a wooden bucket and tells me to fetch water from the well in the center of the village. I don't mind. The walk is peaceful. The cobblestone path feels warm under my feet, and the bakery smells like fresh bread drifting lazily into the air. The baker always waves. The blacksmith gives a slow nod. Even the old clock tower chimes gently, as if it's trying not to interrupt anyone's thoughts. Life here doesn't rush. Sometimes, instead of going straight home, I sit by the pond and skip stones across the water. Bumblebees hover above the surface like tiny guardians of the afternoon. I think about who I'll become one day. Maybe an explorer, or a poet, or someone who discovers something remarkable beyond our hills. But for now, I'm just me, a quiet village boy who likes still water and long shadows. This evening, the sky turned a soft orange as the sun sank behind the hills. I stood in the middle of the village and took a deep breath. The air smelled like bread, hay, and chimney smoke. Everything felt calm, perfect. I smiled to myself. And then I remembered. I had left home 3 hours ago to fetch water. I slowly looked down at the bucket in my hand. It was completely empty. From across the village, I heard my father's voice carry through the peaceful air. Boba. And in that exact moment, I decided I might grow up to be an explorer after all. Preferably somewhere very, very far away. I live in a tiny village where the cows outnumber the people. And if we're being real, the cows have better social lives. Every morning, I wake up to chickens clucking like they had forgot to set an alarm. I walk past the same 2 houses, wave to the same 3 neighbors, and dodge the same jittery horse who thinks I'm his wife. One time I tried to run away to town, but I only made it as far as the canal. I looked at my reflection and said, "Wow, the town really changes a man." Then my mom yelled from across the field, "Don't forget to bring back the eggs." So yeah, I didn't run away. My name is Boba, and I live in a village where the houses are shaped like boxes, and the pigs look like they were built by someone who really loves squares. Every morning, I wake up when the sun pops into the sky, like it was placed there by an invisible hand. I stretch, open my wooden door, and breathe in that fresh, blocky air. My neighbor, Mr. Cobb, is usually outside, humming at his crops. He doesn't say much. Actually, he doesn't say anything else. Just I think it means good morning. Or possibly, please stop jumping on my carrots. I help around the village a lot. I gather wheat, carry hay, and once I tried to pet an iron golem. That was a mistake. He stared at me the way a statue stares at someone who owes it money. I decided we are friends from a respectful distance. Travelers pass through sometimes. They say our village is peaceful, quiet, simple. It is. Well, except at night. At night, the world changes. The sky turns dark in one smooth motion, like someone flipped a switch. Strange groans echo from beyond the fences. I once peeked over the wall and immediately decided I didn't need to know what makes that sound. Curiosity is important, but so is being alive. One night, I decided I would be brave. I grabbed a torch and said, "Tonight, I protect the village." I stepped outside, immediately tripped over a chicken. The chicken screamed. I screamed. A villager somewhere yelled, "Hmm." I scrambled up and ran straight into the iron golem's leg. He looked down at me like, "This is why we can't have nice things." That's when I realized something important. Our village doesn't need protecting. It needs me to go to bed. So now, every night, when the sky flips to dark and the groans start echoing, I do the bravest thing a boy named Boba can do. I close the door. Very, very carefully.